NFL futures are where sportsbooks print money. That's because most bettors make hopeless plays on their favorite team and treat it like a lottery ticket. And lottery tickets are rarely a good decision. But if you approach them the right way, futures bets can also be one of the most beatable markets you'll see all season. And today, I'm going to give you 3 ways to attack them. One that's too easy, one that's too hard, and one that's just right. Hi, I'm Jack from Unabated, where we provide software tools and education to help people find and place sharper bets. I make my living betting on sports, and there's no bigger sport in the US than the NFL. There's also no sport that offers a wider variety of bets to make than NFL football. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of props, teasers, halftimes, and live bets. Before the season, though, futures get all the attention. And why not? Every bettor wants to call their shot, like anyone who had the 99 Rams winning it all at 150 to 1. If you can say you saw a former Arena League quarterback like Kurt Warner leading his team to the promised land, you can lord it over your friends for years. But these bet a little to win a lot pipe dream plays crash and burn far more often than they connect. And the huge vig books charge on them eat you up long before they deliver those once-in-a-lifetime scores. Still, there are exploitable inefficiencies here. That's because a futures wager is really just an offshoot of combining the results of other wagers. To project who's going to win a division, you have to project out how each team is going to perform in their games that season, like in 1999. If you projected the rest of the NFC West to be 500 or worse, it was much easier to spot the Rams as the likely division winner. You see, futures are just the answer to a parlay of a series of logic puzzles. Approach it like that, and you're ahead of the game already. But not all futures are created equal. The markets with the most possible outcomes, like who will win the Super Bowl, are where the sportsbooks bake in the most vig. They're as uncertain as you are, and the book's first line of defense against uncertainty is to charge you more to make the bet. These are the bets that prey on less sophisticated bettors making emotional plays with a combination of hope-filled fandom and long-shot dollar signs in their eyes. But when you narrow it down to just a couple of outcomes, like a team's season win total or yes-no playoff bets, the pricing gets softer and inefficiencies creep in. In my own betting, this is where the majority of my futures bets are made. Sure, being able to predict who will win the Super Bowl is a lot sexier than predicting that a mediocre team is going to win a mediocre number of games. But guess what? The money you win on boring bets is just as green. Or blue. Once you know which markets are worth attacking, the next question is how? Well, like Goldilocks, you've got 3 choices. One that doesn't go far enough, one that goes way too far, and one that's just right. In other videos, I've talked about using the top-down method, using sharper books as your source of truth to find what the line should be. One component of that is line shopping, finding the best price available at all the books you have access to. You can do that with futures bets. By finding the best line on all possible outcomes, you lower that massive house edge. In the case of those two-sided markets, you may even find some arbitrage opportunities. For some bettors, once they hear ARB, that's as far as they need to go. The problem is, you're tying up money in that arbitrage for at least 4 months. That's a lot of opportunity cost for a few percentage points of expected value. But here's the real problem with applying top-down to futures markets. There's no real market maker. Even the sharp sportsbooks don't spend a lot of effort in shaping these lines, and they're often not a big draw to sharp bettors. As a result, these lines aren't always razor sharp. A little top-down theory is fine here, but it's just not enough. Beating these futures markets needs more work. The way most sportsbooks try to solve it is to create power ratings, then simulate out the season, adjusting the power ratings for each simulated week's results. This is probably beyond what a bettor in 1999 would be able to do with whatever big beige computer he had at the time. Taking this approach, you're solving the individual logic puzzles that make up the futures market. It sounds like a lot of work, but the first part, creating power ratings, isn't as hard as you might think. I've known bettors who have attacked NFL betting by extracting the Madden ratings from the popular video game as a shortcut. Seriously. Power ratings are so central to predictive analytics that sportsbooks use them to help set lines. Done well, they can measure how much one team would be favored over another. If you're interested in building your own power ratings, you can do it right in Excel or Google Sheets. A few years ago, I created a video showing you how to translate team statistics into power ratings. I'll drop a link to that in the video description. But if you want to actually project a whole season, you need to simulate out the games and then update ratings week to week as teams change. That's a ton of heavy lifting and a lot of work to do. It also requires you to know ball better than the market. Trying to out-information the collective wisdom of a market like the NFL is playing with fire. And that's too much. That leads us to the Goldilocks zone. You let somebody else know ball, and you let someone else play mad scientist. And you let them be your source of truth. Instead of spending weeks building your power ratings from scratch, you can start with the work of analysts who live and breathe football. Or you can even lean on the books themselves using look-ahead lines. Better yet, you can blend multiple sharp sources into one stronger set of ratings. From there, you're still going to need a simulator to play it all out for you. And that's why we built the NFL Futures simulator that we have at Unabated. You enter your ratings, and it takes care of the rest. It was built by one of the best bettors I've ever met, my co-founder, Rufus Peabody. It runs 10,000 seasons, adjusting team ratings up or down as games are won or lost. It even includes a rating update function, ROOF, that lets you adjust how aggressive or conservative to be in those week-to-week changes. Simulating 10,000 seasons means you don't just see probabilities against main lines, you see how often alternate win totals hit as well. And because our simulator overlays on top of our futures odds screen, you can line shop with your sim results as your source of truth. We even have a simulator for college football where the market is even juicier. So if our Rams bettor had all of this, he would have skipped the handicapping headache and gotten straight to the greatest show on turf. But Jack, what about the fact that sportsbooks hold the money for months? Well, you see, that's the beauty of betting futures. Most people get to week 1 and stop betting them. But these markets are more vulnerable around 6 to 8 weeks into the season. Power ratings are sharper, significant injury information is available, and books can get swayed by public opinion and their own liabilities on teams. So if you're gun-shy about tying up money for 5 months, come back in mid-season and take another look. And if you're looking for something else to fire on in the meantime, well, check out this video about the 5 best bets you can make in a sportsbook.